Stories are love nurturing bands. My name is Osadumebi, and every week I will tell you a short story written by a Nigerian writer or author. That's the long and short of it. So without much ado, this week's story is by Bankole Banjo, and it's titled Honey. There is something liberating about attending an owambe without your spouse. Especially if yours is the kind of spouse who rarely attends one, but never wants to leave when she eventually does. For me, I only go to parties to drink, eat, and of course, feast my eyes on the heavily made-up women and their various fashion choices. When Pastor Mrs. Bishi Akinwande's 60th birthday invite came, I knew I would have a hard time leaving my wife behind. Pastor B, as we call her, was my wife's minister from her spinster days, and she had succeeded in initiating me into the cult of her disciples. I had no problem with that. After all, the woman turned out to be one of the best things that happened to us. Not only did her messages help build our marriage, she became a veritable role model to my wife, so much so, wifey started Bible classes with the mind of working in the vineyard. I still do not know what to make of that. The idea of a Pastor Mrs. Ololade Majekodumi certainly does not appeal to this wine-loving Dr. Femi Majekodumi. But who am I to stand in the way of the Lord? Did someone not try adjusting the ark of the Lord and he got punished for it? If she wanted to go the way of the Lord, I shall support her. But she should forget about me following the same way. After all, the call was not a conference one, and ministry should not be sexually transmitted. The party was taking place at the exquisite Balmoral Event Center of the Federal Palace Hotel. For days before D-Day, wifey could not stop talking about it. Ife, I cannot wait to finally have a chance to see KSA perform live in a sane environment, she began one Friday evening, 3 weeks before the party. For the uninitiated, KSA is King Sunny Ade, and he was all her childhood idea, and Pastor B's only worldly panacea of good music. If it was not KSA, then it had to be Ebenezer Obey. The first and only time my wife was at a party where KSA was to play, the party was ended by torrential rainfall before partygoers could feel the K in the KSA. She had returned home drenched and disappointed. Okay, God keep us, we will be there. It's not like you will cuckoo go and dance when he starts singing, I began before she cut in. How many chances I go get to see the master guitarist now? I go dance so. Shebi you'll be there now? She asked. I went quiet. Huh? You're not coming? Babe, I'm not sure. I might be at work that day. Let's wait and see, Sha, I answered. Of course I loved KSA, but I was not going to miss Arsenal play City on that day. For KSA, nah. But wisdom is profitable to direct. I was not going to show myself. As much as I tried, I found myself at the party on the day, but I went alone. I had lied that an emergency procedure had cropped up at the hospital which needed my attention. She sulked, but allowed me. I promised to drop by later if I could. She said nothing. Mission accomplished. I got to the party at the height of the merriment. Guitar sounds with pliable juju beats filled the hall, aided by KSA's sonorous delivery. You could tell from his choice of songs that you were at a religious party. I quickly banished the thought of anything alcoholic. Holy things to holy people. No one seemed to notice my entry, so I quietly found a corner of the hall which gave me a wide view of everything going on. I observed the waiters in their boring white shirts and black bow ties serving all sorts. The ladies seemed to ignore that the party was for a woman of God. Their fashion choices were as trendy as one would expect at a politician's birthday. From the heavy makeups to the cleavage revealing ashwebi, I nearly thought I was at Banky and Adeswa's wedding. But I was in the right place. The giant poster of the celebrant filled the backdrop of the stage. I already saw a couple of church members, and I'd heard KSA singing the praises of a certain man of God known to favor heavy bling and the spotlight. Then I saw her. From a young age, I favored women with full, curvy bodies. She was just like I loved them. Dark-skinned, full, but not everywhere, with hips that swayed so temptingly with her every step. She backed me and was swaying to the gung-gum, gung-gum-gum-gum, blasting out of the loudspeakers. She had her phone in her hand, and you could tell she was half waiting for it to ring. Someone I recognized as the Bible study leader whispered something into her ears, and she let out a laugh which I could not hear above the ding, but could swear was throaty. Standing at 5'10", she had a presence which reminded one of a trophy to be flaunted, like the Europa League trophy. I took in all of her and found myself drooling from my concealed angle. Just then, my phone rang. It was wifey. I caught the call and sent her a WhatsApp message. How is it going? I typed. Fine, she replied. KSA on the beats. You need to see Pastor B glowing like a newborn mixed-race child. I responded and looked up, trying to find the celebrant and confirm the glow. I figured she was the one swamped by a team of admirers, spraying all kinds of currency in front of KSA. Where are you? She typed. I am at the party, savoring some exciting view here. I chuckled as I typed. My wife knew my love for beautiful women. In our 11 years of marriage, I had cheated just once. I stopped when I saw it was both emotion and pocket draining, and I stuck to my lawfully wedded wife. But I never failed to admire beautiful, full-bodied women. Slim women reminded me of my hustling days as a refugee in Spain, so no. What view? E go pass woman? Ashewo kobo kobo. She responded. I smiled. It's one thing to marry your friend. It is another to marry your soulmate. Shebi na me and you did this ashewo together. I paused to look at the subject of my fancy. She had found a seat, and I could see her side view. She looked even more gorgeous sitting down, her gaze firmly on her phone. It felt good to be able to see her so engrossed in something else. Some women do have it. Ha 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 ha. I love you anyways. So, tell me about this creature. I love you too. Okay. She is dark, full-bodied. Her boobs and hips have an understanding of proportion. Really? So, what is she wearing that you could see the proportion? Uncle. I laughed again, ignoring the waiter who had been asking what I wanted. I waved him away. The aṣọ too, made into a figure-hugging dress with this interestingly low neckline showing some ample boobs. You need to see the way her skin looks so supple, like milk chocolate. I looked up again to make sure I'd got the description right. I had, but missed one detail: her beads. I was about to look down at my phone to include this detail when her smile forced my gaze to remain on her. Man, this babe tight, I said to myself. A spaghetti-thin woman passed and briefly blocked my view of her. Irritated by the obstruction, I tilted my head slightly just as my subject of admiration raised her hand and I saw a glint. A wedding band. My phone buzzed and I forced myself to look at it. Dr. Ashewoni sir. Wifey had typed with a laughter emoji. I smiled. Abi now. Unfortunately, she is married. Just saw a ring. I ended with a sad emoji. Aw, don't be sad. Just go approach her and share her table. That way, you won't have to be drooling over her from afar. Just pray the husband is not anywhere near. She ended with a laughter emoji. The idea sounded good. What do I have to lose? Better to observe from close quarters. Did close-up not say, the closer, the better? Good idea, I responded, then added, let me give this my best shot. Ọkùnrin ládàá. He, was all she responded. I adjusted my neckline, smoothened my beard, and got up. Just then, the lady looked up and in my direction. Our eyes met for an instant. Then she looked away, a smile on her face. I was not deterred. I made a beeline for her. After all, this is the day the Lord has made. Why should I not rejoice? When I got to her table, the Bible study coordinator was the first to recognize me. He waved his greeting and went back to his ofada rice. Hey, honey, I whispered into the ears of Mrs. Ololade Majekodumi. She smiled and covered her face in embarrassment. You know I love you, right? She said as she hugged me tightly. Those boobs I adored nestled against my chest. I will confirm that if you dance to KSA with me. Deal? I answered as she freed herself from my embrace. Anything for my honey boy, she giggled. Glistening brighter than any trophy ever could, I led her to the stage, bundles of mint notes bristling in my pockets. KSA was going to have to change the song. This time, my honey girl must enjoy all of the K and the S and the A. Bankole writes to live and has won several notable writing contests. He currently looks after the marketing and corporate communications function at the Nigerian office of Africa's biggest non-banking financial services firm. His short stories have been featured in anthologies such as the 2012 collection titled Naija Stories of Tears and Kisses, Heroes and Villains, and the 2015 collection titled A Basket of Tales, a Benue ANA anthology of short stories. He also inspired and curated Tales from the Other Side in 2015, a collection of short stories featuring standout writers he met on social media. He tweets at @Oluwabamikole_. Details and links will be in the episode description. If you've got a story you would like to be featured on this podcast, or a published book you want to make into an audiobook, send an email to info@osadmebi.com or send me a message at osadmebi on either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or X, formerly Twitter. I look forward to collaborating with you. And if you've enjoyed this week's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell someone, everyone, that stories are a good escape for a few minutes each week.